Guys, welcome to today's video. Today is Face of the Month, and this is when I put on some of the things that I got this month that I'm really enjoying, but I cannot commit to monthly favorites. No. Full face, I have put on my sunscreen and skincare about 3 hours ago, so I usually, go on with my makeup immediately. Not this time. I had to run some errands, and I was hoping I'd be able to shoot this, but it was sunny and then it was cloudy and now the sun's out again, so we're going for it. This is what I'm going to do. This is Smashbox, I think. Yes, primer water is beautiful and it's the best sprayer ever. So when I'm out of this, I just put in some rose water to help bring a little bit moisture back to my face instead of putting on my foundation on bone dry skin. It's not going to take long for this to dissipate. Just kind of do a little patting, so I'm not really disturbing my sunscreen, but I can't put makeup on bone dry skin. And you might see a little bit of whiteness to my face because I am wearing mineral and it's leaving my face a little bit white. What am I going to do? I'm going to do this beautiful Clé de Peau from YouTube made me buy the Michelle Wong edition, which I will link right up here. I really, really love this. Still, I don't want to do it on wet skin, so I'm just going to make sure. Yeah. The teeniest bit comes in a squeezy tube, and I'm going to do it with my fingers again. I do have 2 new brushes, but I don't want to experiment on video like this. I did go back to Nordstrom's and get another shade. In this is 0, well, I'll write it down right down here what the shade is. And it's a little peach. And I thought, well, let me try the colors that are beige in tone. And I got one a little bit darker because I think this might be a little light. And it didn't work. I returned it. So this is the best shade for me that they offer, but the shades are a little bit wonky. There's nothing truly neutral as far as I can tell. And there is about half my face, not fully, and the sun is kind of going, but this side and this side. I'd say the color, except for I have some on the cheek, the color is pretty decent. And this application is very different because the sunscreen has been on for a couple of hours. I do not regret buying this at all. Yes, it's expensive, but it is so incredibly beautiful on the skin. Love it. All right, now, the Dior Backstage Concealer. Here's what I have figured, you guys. And again, it's been a while since I've had my eye cream on, but I'm not going to reapply. We're just going to do it. I disperse on my hand. I pick up with my finger, take the mirror and look up. That way everything's kind of taut under the eye, and go for it. Eye to eye. I am really liking this. It's just a little bit of learning curve if you are not young. So if you have anything going on here, puffiness, crepiness, darkness, I think I'm going to use this as a primer too today. So just a little bit. This does dry down pretty quickly, so I may not have to powder it. We'll see. There, I just feel fresh. I feel so much better with some base products on, you guys. I could do this, I could do this, go out and run errands and not feel like people are staring at me like I'm crazy. And that is the base. To me, once my base is done, I just feel like a human, I would have rather run my errands just like this. I don't have to do anything else, but my base, everything's evened up, the circles aren't showing, and I'm a happy camper. I love both of these products very, very much. These are favorites. I said it. I did say it. All right, now let's check this out. I think I am going to powder this. And we're going to move on to eyes. And you know what's interesting? I don't feel like I need to powder my face today because the sunscreen's been on for such a long time. I might end up doing some, but I have a very naturally radiant look going on that I'm absolutely here for. So, two palettes I love, Natasha Denona, Hindosh. Neither were very popular videos for me. I think I'm going to do the Hindosh. And I actually did a couple of looks that I haven't edited or posted, but I did do something with this. And while it looks like a vibrant, almost teal kind of color in the dark side, I found that it's reading on me a teeny bit gray, which I am totally here for. So I'm just going to take, this is probably a Wayne Goss that I cannot read, and I'm going to go in with the darker color and just lightly touch. I'm kind of going where my socket is, even though I don't really have a crease. I can feel my orbital bone right here, and then continue down towards the eyelashes and just shear it as it comes down. Because I am wearing a gray top today, and my gray pearls that I have not worn in ages, so long that I couldn't remember how the clasp worked. And I'm not entirely sure that I have attached this correctly. But I love gray pearls. Now on this side I can't actually feel my orbital bone because my tear duct gland is protruding right over here. And I'm just using a very, very light hand. I'm not going full opacity. But as you can see, without dipping in again and just continuing to work my brush, I am getting some payoff. And now I'm going to have to even that up a little bit. And now I'll just keep my eyes open and go in with a little bit more, and that will help me to get them a little more even. For me, it's like it can either be even when the eye is open or even when the eye is closed, but it can't be both. So this can be built up 100% if you want to, but I just wanted to show more of a daily look for this. And now I want to go in with a lighter with something like I think this is a 217. So there's a little bit of a lighter shade, and I'm just really going over everything quite softly. And now I'm going to go with this color up here, same brush, and just work on the edges a little bit. I think it looks, you know, really, it doesn't need much blending. The Hindosh pencil, I'm going to do a little tight lining up here. I love blue and brown together in everything, clothes, decorating, makeup. I think they're very nice partners. And I'm just going to do a teeny bit of lining up here, not a lot, but just helps to ground. And blend with the finger, and see how there's just a little bit of a nice haze on this compared to this. Love these together. On the eyes, that turquoise color, and I'm telling you, I think it's really pulling more grayish blue. The Sicily mascara that I got as a gift with purchase, let's do that. I've been enjoying this one a lot. And this does not flake. It doesn't smudge, it just stays on. And I'm slightly embarrassed to say that last night I was so tired, I did not wash my face. It happens once in a while, and it wasn't even smudged on me this morning. It's kind of weird. And it feels on the lashes very soft, so if you were to touch your lashes during the day, It doesn't feel like mascara. Now for blushes, I have this one, which is very cool, but I feel like the look I'm getting could be a little cool, especially since my top is gray. Or maybe I could try to balance it out with the Sicily, which is in this beautiful peach. And if you go towards the center, the color will be a little bit more orangey, but just around this, it's that vintage lingerie kind of pink that I love. So let's see if this works. Bringing a little bit of life to the skin. Look at that sheen. It's so subtle and lovely. It's not a pop, it's just bringing a little bit of warmth. Even though we have a sheen, I did buy 2 highlighters this month, and I do not know where my highlighter brush is, but the 2 things I got were the Chanel, which comes with its own brush, which is quite dense. And this is beautiful. There's a beiginess to this. And it's right here. And that's a limited edition and new. This is not limited edition. It's not new. It's the Clé de Peau. And the Clé de Peau is right here. Chanel Clé de Peau. They're very, very similar, but there's a bit of beiginess in the Chanel. I think for what I'm doing today, I'm going to do the Clé de Peau. Because I already have some sheen here already from my blush, and I can't find my highlighter brush, I'm going to go in with an eyeshadow brush and just kind of intensify it right around here. And just tap it to make sure there are no edges. So beautiful. And then I'm going to do a little bit on the nose here and a little bit right here. So this is a very dense brush, so I just want to pat down on that so it's not too obvious. Look at that. Going to fill in my brows a little bit. That's one thing, you know, a lot of higher end companies come out with brow products, but that's one thing I feel like you can do at the drugstore. At least this product I happen to love. Do a little brush. For lips, I bought about 1 million lip colors this month. I bought a lot from Bite Beauty that were on sale, and I'm afraid they're going to discontinue that formula, which is such a shame, but maybe not. And then I bought the Dries Van Noten, which are amazing. But if we're going for a transitional kind of look, we're not quite in spring. I kind of feel like this, I think it's called Eldorado. This is Eldorado Beige. And let's just try it. I mean, I want to do bright, but I don't know. I kind of like that. I think the cheek and the skin really subtle, some coolness here, a little bit of warmth right here, and I think it's kind of a lovely transitional look where you're not quite in... I have no idea where the camera stopped. Let's assume that the camera just stopped a few minutes ago. I'm going back in with the Hindash, and I'm going to go right here. And I was explaining that if you have discoloration, darkness, true darkness under your eyes, this is the kind of color you want to be very careful with. For some people it's blue, for some people it's more of a purpley, mauvey, bruisey color under their eye. And this could relate to that, thereby pulling out that color. But for me, I'm not really discolored right here. It's more right here. So just a little bit of this color right over here. So this is going to be it for me, you guys. This is like a transitional into spring. We're not quite there yet, but I think I could change the lip to something more vibrant and totally change it. Let's do it. I believe this is called Antique Red, and it's definitely going to need some lip liner. if we decide on it. I don't know, I think this works, and it really helps to brighten up and balance out the gray, and gray and orange I really love together too, by the way. So I'm just going to go for a pencil. This is from Makeup Forever. I think I like this better. And you guys, that is my face of the month. Again, we're doing the Hindash palette. We're doing the Clay Depot for highlighter. We're doing the Sicily in Coral blush. We're doing the Clay Depot foundation and the Dior Backstage under the eyes. And I think my skin looks so fabulous. And now that I have this orange on, it kind of is picking up on the orangeness in the cheek. It's not too much if you're afraid of oranges, but it's just enough when you use it that way, where you go around the darker orange in the center. It gives me a little bit of lusciousness. I love the foundation. The shine's beginning to come through now. Initially I thought, oh, I like it that my sunscreen's been on for a couple of hours, it's not as shiny, but now it's getting a little warmer. I'm beginning to see a little of the shine, but it's still not too much for me. It is more on the radiant side. I think the cheeks look just radiant as opposed to greasy. I usually like to powder the cheeks. I love this foundation, you guys. Love it. And I love this Hindash palette. You can see those bright, scary colors. Not so scary at all. Really not so scary. And of course you can use, this is face palette, really. You think of the Charlotte Tilbury face in a palette, I don't remember what they're called. They're about 80 bucks. And I've heard so many people say the pans are so small you can't get your brushes in them. This is kind of the same thing, you guys. There's not a highlighter in here. It's true. But you have your blush colors. You can get a neutral look out of this. I've gotten a beautiful neutral out of it. You can get colorful looks. You can do so much with this. For me, between this and a Charlotte Tilbury palette, which I've never even bought one, because if the colors aren't right, then they're not right. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Hourglass palettes. It's like if it's not a color that's going to work for you, there's no messing around with it. Where with this, if you think this kind of blush is not going to work on me, that's okay. You got one over here. You can play around with this one, and I am so glad that I got it. I love the pencil. I love the mascara. I think this is a full face of Face of the Month. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be smart and safe. I'm wishing you good health.